Satnam, beautiful sovereign woman. Satnam. I am Jyotira Jeet Kaur with VeronicaBerriganIam.com. And today on Sovereign Woman TV, I am going to be showing you how to accept yourself. In essence, take your sovereignty back in a two-part process and why this is so important to truly be a sovereign woman. And as always, thank you so much for joining live and for liking and subscribing. As you all know, I go live every Tuesday and Thursday, with Tuesday a spiritual sovereignty video to help you heal yourself, therefore healing all the generations before and all the generations after you. And then on Thursday with a follow-up Kundalini yoga meditation to truly help you integrate this knowledge, because we cannot have knowledge without integration, especially in the age of Aquarius. So welcome. So how to accept yourself. I know this could sound almost a little cliche. A lot of people talk about this whole you have to accept yourself. But in my journey, especially of healing and of sovereignty myself, of the union of the mind and the heart, the biggest irony that I have found is that through the path, the spirituality of going within, of self-awareness and looking at becoming aware of myself to see that I also am the problem and the solution. The irony here is that the more you bring out your light, the more you connect to that authentic Satnam, your truth, the more darkness, the more the duality aspect of you actually shows up in your life. It shows up because the truth here, and this is where it gets really ironic, is that to truly be in union with who you are, to truly love yourself and fully accept yourself, you must also fully accept the darkness. You must also fully accept that those aspects of yourself that perhaps you don't want to show to other people. Like, for example, when you're angry, or when you feel jealous, or when you feel like you're not enough. Kara, thank you so much for joining. I'm so happy that you're here with us live again. I appreciate you very, very greatly. And as we get into today's topic, feel free to chime in and let us know if this resonates with you. Thank you so much for being here. And so self acceptance really is so beautiful, because as we start to connect more within ourselves, and if you have a meditation practice, you can definitely attest to what I'm talking about. Meditation and going within, and this whole process of learning who we are can be really, really messy, and it can be really, really painful. And the reason why it can be really painful is because since we were children, and I did a whole video on the inner child and why right now during the age of Aquarius, where our subconscious mind is completely here to tell us to face her and to really learn with the new techniques, or with the techniques that have been with us forever, may I say, to be able to process these emotions, that we're now able to truly go into this inner child aspect of ourselves and reprogram those things that were said to us that made us feel like we shouldn't accept ourselves. And a lot of these things we cannot, sometimes we can't physically or actually remember, but they still live within us, which is energy that becomes stagnant in our energetic zones and our chakras. Our chakras are energetic zones that actually govern our psychology. And because of that, we must learn to detoxify and cleanse out our system so that we're not consistently running off of these programs. And there was this beautiful, beautiful doctor that I heard the other day, one of my favorite mentors and teachers as it relates to especially Kundalini yoga and spirituality and really being a sovereign woman, is Guru Jagat. And she was interviewing this amazing doctor. Her name is Dr. Pratima Rikar, and she's an Ayurveda doctor, and she's learned Ayurveda since she was a young girl. And she said she remembers one day when she was hanging out with her grandma, and she was putting on lipstick, and her grandma had turned to her and said, "Why are you putting on lipstick? You don't think you're beautiful?" And she said to her grandma, "Well, I see everyone else putting on lipstick, so I want to look beautiful like they." And her grandma then taught her a big lesson about what it meant to be beautiful. And she explained to her that to truly be beautiful, we must learn to accept these three aspects of ourselves. And she described them in a way that truly resonated with my heart. And I want to share with you today so you can truly understand the power of beauty and the power of truly accepting yourself fully. Her grandmother then told her that the three aspects of herself that she needed to learn to really integrate and accept were: first, there were the goddess Kali. And I don't know if you're familiar with the goddess Kali, but the goddess Kali is all about destruction. If you look at her picture, she's actually pretty scary. She's got her tongue sticking out, and she wants to destroy anything that is negative or that definitely does not work in your authentic power. And a lot of us, we don't want to accept or face or surrender to that negativity. We get stuck on incidents in our life that cause trauma, and then we wear them like Cartier bracelets, like diamond rings, reprogramming and telling the stories over and over. When in essence, when we learn to move towards the darkness and learn to make it part of us, that's when we can start to slowly integrate all of us. And then her grandmother said that the second aspect of herself that she must truly surrender to is the goddess Saraswati. Now, Saraswati is the goddess of creativity, the goddess of knowledge and wisdom. And this relates to personal wisdom and self experience. And as we go into the age of Aquarius, the fall of the patriarch, the fall of the guru and the teacher, because guess what? All of the answers are inside of you. Saraswati comes as this great teacher that you do know and that you do have the answers and that your intuition is correct and that you can follow this higher consciousness that has always guided you. And then the third aspect of ourselves is the goddess Lakshmi. And the goddess Lakshmi represents beauty. She represents prosperity, wealth, richness, whatever this means to you. But we cannot have wealth and prosperity when we're not fully in access, like an acceptance of our wisdom. When we're not fully in acceptance of the darkness and the negativity, the duality that has happened in our life to get us to the here and now. And if you've been watching my videos for now, you can go check out the first video I ever did, which was the whole video of my experience in the jungle, why I went to the Peruvian jungle for 17 days with my family, and how Mother Ayahuasca, this was the reason, the whole reason why I went there was for her to tell me and integrate this into my subconscious being to truly make me into a sovereign woman, not by fixing myself because I was never broken, but by truly accepting myself and all of who I was, the anger, the feeling of aloneness, the not feeling like I was enough. All of those aspects were actually what made me. And when I was rejecting them, when this is what happens, when you start rejecting parts of yourself, you start to become fragmented. And then when you start to become fragmented, since you don't want these aspects of yourself, those personalities or those aspects start to go out into the world and they start to co-create experiences just like the inner child because it's frustrated. She wants to show you how she wants to process these emotions, but we're not allowing her. Just like that, she starts to go out into the world and recreate situations with people, recreate situations that will remind you about that trauma, that will remind you about you not feeling enough or not worthy, which is why, especially today when we have the wisdom with us, it's important for us to be disciplined and devoted to a daily, what we call a sadhana, a daily meditation practice. The thing is, with meditation is you're consistently creating new neural pathways in the brain. And if you stop creating the new streets in the brain, what will happen is your karma, your old programming, your old self comes back with a vengeance, comes back to fight you hard because now it's free again and it's ready to go at it and come back with those same feelings that held you feeling small and held you feeling pretty much like you were not enough and not sovereign. So there's a two-step process here because there's a thin line, between self-acceptance, right? And there's also, of course, laziness. That's completely different. Laziness is when we truly are not following our dharmic purpose, right? Where there's fear involved with that. When we are self-accepting, it takes deep, deep shadow inner work. And the first aspect of this really has everything to do with an entire whole, not just from the physical, but I'm talking about a whole self-awareness path where you literally are not afraid to start facing who you are so that you could start to sense those triggers. And that's exactly why Kundalini yoga has been so effective in my life. It's the yoga of awareness, self-awareness. And self-awareness is priceless. It's vital because then you'll start to realize when experiences are reprogrammed from the mind and when that inner child is starting to shout out for attention, right? So self-awareness is a process. It's a path that I take every day. And just like spirituality is not something that you do. Spirituality is something that you catch. And yes, there's many times when I have honeymoon periods with my spiritual, with my meditation practice, and I'm in bliss and joy. But I'll tell you, most of the time it's hell. Self-awareness is not fun. And a lot of the times I don't want to do it. But I know the results. And I know that even if I can get a glimpse of 1 second of connection with the mind to the heart, that even that just 1 second can be enough to move me into a different state of consciousness. So, as you start this process of understanding that you don't want to reject any aspect of yourself, you start to move inward and you start to say, I want this self awareness. I know that I'm the problem and I know I'm the solution. So, what do I need to know now? So, the first aspect that's very important is self awareness. The second part of that we're going to try is actually, or the second part of this aspect of really being able to heal our self acceptance is reprogramming. And now, reprogramming, this part actually comes with you with the meditations. Like I was telling you, spiritually, what you're doing is you're actually connecting within for self awareness. But the meditations, neuroscientifically, what is happening is that it's creating new neural pathways. It's literally putting these new streets in your brain so that you can have a new higher awareness, a new, basically a conscious perceptive reality of the experience of the situation. So whatever you are hating yourself for, whatever, negative aspects you think that are in your personality, all of those things through the meditations, especially the one that I'm going to be sharing with you on Thursday, because I know Kira asked for a more movement meditation Tuesday. I share all the spiritual sovereignty videos to get you to understand why it's so important to self accept. And then on Thursday, which is going to be here tomorrow, actually, you can join me. I'll be sharing with you a meditation that is more moving. And meditation doesn't have to be sitting. Many people confuse meditation with you have to get into a coma and you have to have no thoughts. That's not, no one can do that. If you had no thoughts, you would be in a coma and you would not be doing meditation. You would be in a hospital or somewhere else, right? And so, what we want to do with meditation is to understand that, especially through Kundalini yoga, the meditations are actually pretty active. And tomorrow's meditation, we're going to be working on a one that'll help you self accept yourself. So, you can join me for that. So, you can truly feel the energy, this Kundalini energy move and help you balance out any negativity that's in your body, mind, spirit. So, the second aspect of this is the meditation part. It's the breathing, the mudras, the positions that you put your body in through Kundalini yoga, right? When you start to do that, then what will happen is that those are the energy that we need to actually create these new streets, new neural pathways in the brain to help you learn how to accept yourself. And what we can do is add on tomorrow when I share this exercise or this challenge with you all or this meditation with you, then we can start a challenge together because I know Kira wants to start a challenge. So we'll send you to my website. I actually have a 40-day challenge on there that you can do. And this is a 40-day meditation challenge that actually helps you with cold depression and it helps you with the age of Aquarius. So you can hit the link. I'll put the link in the description below, Kara. And if you want, join that challenge. It's a 40-day challenge that you can join, and you can check out the details there. So you can click on that. I'll put the link in the description as well. So the key here with self-acceptance is that we cannot allow any part of ourselves become fragmented. We must learn to accept ourselves fully as to who we are. And the two-part our process to that is number one, it's self-awareness. You have to want to reprogram yourself. You have to want to face yourself. You have to be willing and devoted to truly go within and to truly become aware of the triggers that are creating the lack of self-acceptance. And that takes work, and sometimes it could be instantaneous through one meditation where you have this flash of self-awareness. And for me, it's been a journey, right? It's been a journey of forever. My deep healing journey especially began the last 10 years. And there's been times in one meditation where I've moved thousands of years, and there's other days where I feel like nothing's happening. The key here is devotion and doing this without any expectations. When we start to put expectations on things, we start to become attached, and then we start to get back into the cycle of the ego. The second part, through self-awareness, then comes our reprogramming. Reprogramming by creating new neural pathways in the brain that then allow us to experience those situations that created the lack of self acceptance, in a more higher perceptive reality to truly be able to accept the situations or forgive the people, forgive the situation, forgive ourselves, whatever it needs that forgiveness. Because in essence, healing is not about fixing. Healing is about acceptance. That's what healing truly is. It has nothing to do with fixing anything that's broken. Nothing goes wrong in our life. The moment we can start to get into the neutral mind and truly, fully accept ourselves, that's when we're going to start to truly become the sovereign woman that we're always meant to be. So accept yourself today and accept yourself every day. That's the lesson that we all incarnate to learn. Thank you so much for joining, Kara, and thanks for everyone else that's joining. Tomorrow I'll be going live again, so make sure you subscribe and hit the like button below so you can be notified. And tomorrow, Kara will be doing a much more active meditation. It is going to be 11 minutes, so get ready. This one's going to help us with learning how to accept ourselves fully. In Kundalini yoga, we work with energy. Everything is energy and it's vibrating as a frequency. And tomorrow's meditation is going to help you learn how to work this energy so you too can become a yogic scientist and take your sovereignty back. Thanks again for joining. Thanks again for the comments. Have a blessed rest of your day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Satnam.